All right, update number 10, I believe. I should call it like 9.5 since it's not really that big of an update. But I'm not doing as much work on the car as I want right now, even though I kind of have some time. I've been having some back issues that I'm trying to get figured out, and it seems like when I work on the car is when they're the worst, honestly, and healing over. So I've been kind of playing it safe right now until we figure that out. But I'll kind of go over some of the items that I have done and that I can still do. This 480 I have semi torn apart. I've already done the valve body stuff. I have drilled out the separator plate, and I've gotten the accumulator delete plate on it. I'm not really gonna flip it over, but you can see that the plate is under here. The accumulator that would go on there would be this guy right here. So that's gone, that's deleted, it's on there. And then what I'm gonna do is I got to build, I don't have a little mechanism that you can put up on the engine stand and flip it around so I can remove all the guts. So I have some 2x4s and items that I can build a little stand on where I can flip this thing up and set it down on and start pulling the guts out of it. And then once I do that, I can go look at overall the clutches. And then I got this Chrysler 727 snap ring. It should have set over here. Actually, I'm just gonna set it on top of here for right now so I don't forget it. And then there is, I have to clean up this weekend. This is the dirtiest it's been in a long time. I got my set screw assortment, and then I have a boost valve over here. Oh, yeah, so then the Sonax boost valve that'll go in there. And then if the clutches look good, I think I'm just gonna slap it back together, depending on what they look like, and then we'll get that going, because this isn't gonna be a super high horsepower car. It's only gonna make about 550 to the wheels. The setup, and at its highest point, it might be 800. It might. That's really pushing it. Anything over 800, I'm probably gonna back it down anyways. But for this main setup here, the one that I really want to accomplish, my goal is 550. So I think we'll be able to do that. So yeah, that's what I'm working on the transmission wise, and hopefully the next couple weeks. I'm hoping the next week, if I get this back stuff figured out, I can get that situated in the car. That's one of my major scares right now, is trying to get this thing loaded up underneath the car and then have something go whack and I can't exercise or do anything with my kids. So that's something I can still do, and that's kind of more important to me than the car. Surprise, surprise, but it is. So don't mind my furniture here. That's on the patio and I'm moving around the garage. Dana 44 is in. I think the last one, it was just sitting here on the floor. So the Dana 44 is in here. Let me grab a light here quick and disconnect it. We'll use this Harbor Freight M19, as I always joke. M19, better than M18. This thing's a pile of garbage, honestly. So yeah, the Dana 44 is in. This is just a 85 Dana 44. It's got 307 gears in it. They had it apart when I was there. It was super clean inside. Everything looked great. So I'm like, you know what? Everything's going together. We're going to slap it in, and we'll put new fluid in it, and we'll just go with that, because they're perfect highway gears. I mean, they're not what like the 273s that would get, or even 255 or whatever the hell some of these cars had. And it worked great for street strip stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. We'll give her a shot and see what's going on. The only problem I had was these kind of cars are kind of weird with their lower control arms on them. They really sit, like the lower control arms just sit really bow-eyed, and I thought it was just maybe I wouldn't have something set up right, but when you go and look online and you see everybody else is working on them, they all do this. And I have it sitting on cinder blocks right here to kind of get some load on it, like you'd be sitting on the ground, and it does make a hell of a difference. But you can see that those bushings are just, so you can zoom in, those bushings are shot. So a lot of the bushings on this car are actually in pretty decent shape. They're not great, but they are in decent shape, and I didn't want to replace them because I looked at them like, you know what, for what I'm going to be doing, these things are going to last a few more years before I have to touch it. So those ones are definitely not. So there actually is a bushing kit that I can still get from some new old stock from, I can't remember what company it is, but they don't sell it on their website anymore. It's just people that have some new old stock of it, and they're just the bushings for these lower control arms. I think they're called strut arms, lower strut arms. So it's about, I can get them for about 25 bucks shipped to my house for the set. So I'm gonna get those in and mark them off, because these actually have an adjustment on them to where they're kind of, it's hard to see here. They have an adjustment. Yeah, you can't see crap, but they have an adjustment on them to where they go forward and back. So a lot of people just take like a white marker and mark them and then unbolt it, and then when you put it back in, you can set it and then lock it. So that's what I'm gonna do there. I'm gonna get that order with my, I have a big purchase I'm still working on, a bigger, not big, but bigger bunch of parts that I'm still getting together. I still haven't ordered, but that's one of them in there as part of that. Half shafts. So the company I was going with was the half shafts. I changed my mind because I realized that it was only for one half shaft what I'd be paying for steel shaft, and I thought it was a little insane. And there's another company out there that specifically just does Corvette stuff, that sells steel shafts that are good for 1,000 wheel for 550 shipped to your house. And I'm like, you know what, that's still kind of expensive. It's doable, but still expensive. So I'm gonna ask around to see if I can get some custom half shafts made, because they literally are just mini drive shafts like this, and I can just measure them, and these are 3.5 inch. And then what I do is say, hey, I need to have 2 of these shafts made that are steel for 1350 U-joints, and send me, and then we'll be good, because that's all they are. They're just mini drive shafts, and for this size I could probably have 2 of them made special ones made that are steel, that'll fit my needs for, I would say, probably for 400 bucks, 200 a shaft. There's got to be a lot of places out there that are willing to do a price like that, like $450. Anything to save, at least 100 bucks, because paying $700 for 2 half shafts that are still smaller than most drive shafts is kind of insane. It would make sense if it was going to make 1,000 wheel horse, but for half shafts to handle, what they should, I really don't see why the material cost and the labor cost wouldn't be that much. But we'll see. The worst case, I spend $550, but I'll talk to some guys, and if they want to shoot me a decent price, we'll work with them. So that's that. The throttle position sensor worked just fine. It was not broken. That was the only issue I had, and the only thing I have to verify is the coils to make sure everything's working there, even though it does fire and run. But no, the throttle position sensor works just fine. It was just how I was reading it, and it was set for, it wasn't actually how I was reading it. It was there was a setting in there for electronic electronic control that I have screwed up in the past, so I don't know why I looked at it. Electronic throttle, it was set, so I wasn't reading it. And then I forgot to add the channel too on VCM, so I wasn't reading it either. So we're good there. I will post up the fan video I made. I'm not going to start them here. I don't have my laptop with me to hit them off with HP tuners, but here is a quick video of them running and me setting them off. There we go. So as you can see, they work. They work pretty decent. They move a lot of air, especially like up here, their hand. It just blows air all over the top of this motor, and then up underneath the car, you can just feel the air flying. So they do work really well, and that's good. The other item that I had was the cruise control module and the fender well here. I had to cut to get around. The intercooler piping, so that's been done. And then the throttle cable for the cruise control runs up at the bottom. I don't know, sorry that I don't have enough good light, but it runs underneath the car here, and then it runs up between here. And then what I'll do is I'll make a little mount do that. Now in these cars, they have a spot for cruise control, and I had to cut that off as it would hit the neck. And you can spin these necks around, but in my experience, when you do that and you heat them up and you spin them, you might as well just take the whole neck off and reseal it. And then they never do seal as good from the factory unless you're using some high temp adhesive. But I really don't want to screw with that, so I just cut it off, which is fine anyways, because what I might do is do something on this side and make my own custom mount. So it's looks like it's going to happen. And then do it on this side instead of that side, and then just have this as close to the intake as possible. Do it on that side, and then your normal throttle wire come through, and then we'll have cruise control and be good there. And that's just a like 2002 Blazer 4.3 cruise control module. I think they're used in a lot of the full-size pickup trucks as well. They're fairly cheap, and there's a few write-ups on many forums on how to wire everything. It's basically just an engaged cable from here, and then it reads your brake switch when you hit it to disengage the torque converter, and then disengages the cruise control, and then everything else hooks up either to like battery, and then what the hell was I gonna say now? The switch in the inside of the car to set, turn on, and set, and up, down for speed. So that'll be like an afterthought, as well as like the AC. Like I have everything ready for the AC, but it's like get everything else going, and then like the very fine details, the finer ones at the end would be cruise control, the AC lines, and a couple other items. So other than that, that is the update. Not much, but that is something. I didn't spend a lot of time. I haven't had a lot of time, and then when I do, my back's been giving me issues. So we'll keep trucking on this. We need to get this thing down, torn apart, and inspect it. And then if it's good, we'll throw the parts that I have in it. If it's not, we'll order a set of clutch packs and get that in there, and then we'll be ready to go. It's funny, this is a TH400 dipstick. It's like a cheap one. I think it was like 40 bucks, 45 bucks. And I did scribe it where it's going to be sitting. And on there, they have God, man, it's just really tough. I'm sorry that I really don't want to, but I should get better visual equipment. But I did put like a flat plate across there, and the mark that's on there is almost dead spot on. It's just slightly lower, so I know that where I need to fill it to make it to this line is just slightly above the notch that's already on there, by about 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch roughly. So that's all I need to worry about, know where that's going to be, and I can always take that off and just scribe it like a 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch above it, and then we'll be good. So yeah, that's it. We'll keep going on with this, and we'll make some more. I need to get that parts list together, which will include the bushings, hopefully the half shafts, but we might still have to wait on that. And basically everything up here to finish it. Finish it up here. Other than the AC stuff, it'll be like, hey, this thing's ready to drive. Let's stop worrying about this and let's go this way. So that's the update. You guys take care. Have a good weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.